Welcome to the Songwriter Connection podcast, where we look at the craft of songwriting through the eyes of the songwriter. Each week, we make a connection with a music maker, listen to their songs, and hear their stories. From Nashville, Tennessee, here's your host, Dave Lenihan.
I was thinking today, how do you define success? What is it to you? I mean, personally, you know? I mean, are you shooting for the moon, trying to be the next Bruno Mars, Taylor Swift? And if you are, that's cool. If you had that like tomorrow, could you be happy? Would you be happy with it? Because I've always heard, you know, the view is not good enough ever. The car's not big enough. There's never enough money.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, you know, it's being happy along the way. You know, maybe you've got a different goal in mind. Maybe your goal is, I'm going to learn how to play guitar. I'm going to learn to play piano. So these poems I've been writing, maybe I can put some songs together, you know? Or maybe you're past that and it's like, I'm going to write a good song and I'm going to submit it to the Nashville Songwriters Association International, and they're going to love it and they're going to make me the next one to watch on that watch list. Or maybe it's, I'm going to perform my first writer's round, or I'm going to perform some of these songs I've been writing for other people and get immediate feedback. Maybe it's you want to sign a publishing deal like our friend Justin Love just did not too long ago, and who has been on this podcast. You know, and maybe it's more than that, but whatever it is, it's the journey, and I hope that you enjoy it on the way, and I hope you're happy when you get it. And because you've heard it a million times, it's enjoying the journey as you go. So I'm wondering, how do you define success? And you know, we do this show because there's a lot of different ways to enjoy success, and there's a lot of different success stories. Yeah. I think all of the podcasts that we've had in the past, I think every one is a success story. I really do. So I hold them up as examples for you, okay? And I hope that you get something out of this podcast, whether it be writing a better song or helping you to get to those little goals. And to me, that's what it's all about. And I want to thank you for joining us once again. You know, this is episode, I was looking at the book today, and I'm not really good at tracking these, but it's 119, okay? And we're approaching 400,000 download streams, listeners worldwide. And we certainly appreciate you doing that. If you're listening on YouTube, my hope and prayer would be that you hit that little like and subscribe button, although we're not a video podcast as of yet. I think it's important to be there. And as I mentioned in our last podcast, we're hoping to monetize on YouTube as well. It really helps a lot. So with all that said, we are going to get inside the success story that is Jessica Nixon. Hi, Jessica. How are you?
Hi, I'm good.
I first saw you perform. I'd heard your name, and I knew you were out there. But I first saw you perform at Live Oak at a writer's round, and you absolutely blew me away. Great voice, great personality, great stage presence.
Thank you.
Thank you for being on our show today.
Thanks for having me. I think that was at Bourbon Breakdown, right?
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yep.
Can use some of that bourbon right now.
Hey.
Unfortunately, I'm fresh out.
We'll take water.
We'll take water. Water or work. Here we go. It's just 2 p.m. as we're taping this. So, Jessica, why don't we start with one of your songs? This is one of your newer ones. It's called Flames, and you wrote it with a pretty cool songwriter, didn't you?
Yes.
Yeah, guys had a lot of success.
Yeah, Lance Carpenter. I actually met him through my mentor, Linda Davis.
Linda Davis.
Yeah, she used to have like a little Stars on the Rise show, and it was in like July, I think it was. And it was out in the middle of nowhere, and I cannot remember the name of this little place. It's not even there anymore. I think it's a bank now. Yeah. Actually. But I met Lance there. He was there that night, and she introduced us, and she's like, I really think you guys would be great friends. She also introduced me to my producer, who still produces all of my stuff and produced this as well.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, over 10 years.
Yeah.
And so I think I've known Lance almost 10 years now.
Have you really?
I have, yeah. And we've been great friends. He was there through writing through a lot of really difficult times for me, and this was one of those songs, you know, the infamous breakup album.
That's this one.
Yeah.
What's the name of that album?
It was actually just a collection of Flames. Like, it was a collection of about 5. I didn't really name the project.
There you go. Yeah. Okay.
I did some showcases. And
that's how you do it today. A lot of people just singles. It's a singles rule. Yeah, it really has.
The atmosphere has changed. Like, you used to do a full album. Now you do an EP. But even if you do an EP, you're still releasing singles. It's just, it's really changed. Just in like the 10-year period that I've kind of been doing this actively, you go from showcasing in person to label turntables to doing streams, you know, like your TikToks, your reels. I mean, it's the
so
landscape. Oh my gosh. Like it's everything. It's everything now. And I never thought that it would come to that. But I've known Lance way before the tweet and the reel and the TikTok. So.
He's a great guy and a great songwriter.
I actually also wrote this with Forrest Whitehead. He produced Kelsey Ballerini's first album with Black River. And he has like the Songwriter's Playbook. I think him and Lance both have classes and stuff, and they're just super informative, super great guys. It was a fun write.
Yeah, I remember I was at a seminar somewhere. I think it was probably through Global Songwriters, and he was there and gave me some good advice on a song I was working on. So
great guy.
I know he's a great guy. So let's play this. It's called Flames. Story behind it?
I was going through a divorce actually, and I came just really, really angry to this write, and I wanted to write about setting stuff on fire, and I just had this, bang rock, just balls out song, but it did not turn out that way. So you're about to hear it.
Here's how it turned out. It is called Flames. It is our guest Jessica Nixon on the Songwriter Connection. Thanks for joining us today.
Your promises were like ashes, honey. A cloud of smoke is all that there was. You sure know how to burn me, baby. But ain't it funny how the tables turn? Every picture that framed, every memory, that old Abbey Road record that you gave to me, I'm gonna rip them down, toss them out, pile it up and soak it all in gasoline. Every diamond, every candle, every flower vase, every gift that tried to cover up your mistakes, gonna strike a match, toss it in, let our light go up in flames. By the time you pull into the driveway, I'll be crossing that county line. But don't say I didn't leave you nothing, 'cause out back there's a little surprise. Every picture that framed, every memory, that old Abbey Road record that you gave to me, I'm gonna rip them down, toss them out, pile it up and soak it all in gasoline. Every diamond, every candle, every flower vase, every gift that tried to cover up your mistakes, gonna strike a match, toss it in, let our light go up in flames. Every picture that framed, every memory, that old Abbey Road record that you gave to me, I'm gonna rip them down, toss them out, 'cause baby they don't mean a thing to me now. Every diamond, every candle, every flower vase, they can never ever cover up your mistakes. Gonna strike a match, toss it in, let our light go up in every picture that framed, all the memories, I'm gonna let them go.
It's called Flames. It's our guest Jessica Nixon. Great song, Jessica. Really.
Thank you.
Powerful. Can I ask one favor, though?
What's that?
If you got any other Beatles records you want to tear
I'll give
up,
them to
throw-
you.
Please.
I'll bring them to you.
That's vinyl abuse. I'm sorry.
It is. I
I'm
agree
just
with
kidding.
you.
Yeah.
I must have been really mad.
You must have been. What a great song, though. My goodness.
you.
And I've heard you say that this whole project here, most recently, is kind of your autobiography.
Yeah.
I can say it right.
Yeah,
autobiography, right?
Yes.
So a lot of personal stuff in there, huh?
Yeah, really personal. And I found as I've gone on this journey, I'm a pretty private person.
Are you?
So I try not to make everything on the nose that I write about. Like, I want everyone to be able to relate to it. But in this era of songwriting, it was pretty on the nose.
Wow. Well, they say write what you know, right?
And I knew it, and I knew it well. Yep,
because you
sure
lived
did.
it, by God.
Yeah,
so
did.
that's great. Let's talk a little bit about. I'm going to brag on you a little bit. You've been in great company for a while. You have opened up for people like Linda Davis, and Ty Herndon and Dustin Lynch. Oh my God, he's so big these days. Aaron Tippin, Shenandoah, Jamie O'Neill. It's a pretty long list, and personal friends with Linda, and she's
a wonderful person inside and out.
Also, see, you did some work with Hillary Scott of Lady A. Huh?
Yeah, she actually between there were some songs that she wrote with Victoria Shaw that they actually let me use for my first showcase, my first official demo to kind of break into the business. So I was just super, super grateful that they were that generous. They were really good songs. So usually they give you your crappy ones if you're a nobody, but they gave me some pretty top shelf songs. So I was really fortunate.
Just tell us what a showcase is like. You know?
Oh my gosh.
Where was it at? How did it come about? And
so the first showcase that I had, and I'm going to set kind of the scene, it was a time where women were not on the radio. I'm thinking the only women that were on the radio were Carrie, Miranda, and if you were in a group. Yeah. Like you weren't.
That's right.
It was a really
tough, as we called it,
tough time, and you were bringing up success, and it was at this point that I had to really say to myself there is a slim chance that I'm going to get a big deal right now, and I knew that. Yeah. But I was going for it for other purposes to to show who I was, to make sure that my name was out there, and my very first showcase was at the Rutledge. It's not even there anymore.
Not there anymore.
No. Yeah. And it was a great little venue. I really enjoyed it. Great
I remember
sound.
that place. Yeah, I do remember.
Yeah, and I had so many great players. All my session players showed up to play for me at that show because they believed in what I did. It was humbling. And I had a lot of labels there in town and even management companies, publishers, they're like, we can't make any money off of women right now.
Isn't that crazy?
It's wild. And I had 2 more showcases over the next couple years and with stuff that I had written, and with Flames as one of my songs. I mean, I was writing with, heavy hitters, doing the whole thing, and I watched the landscape change. It wasn't changing fast enough at the time, but God's timing, not mine. And I needed to first heal from things that were going on personally, and I don't think that if I had signed a big deal, I'm not sure if I could have handled that sort of environment at the time.
I see.
Emotionally, honestly, I don't feel like I could have.
Kind of going back to what we were saying in the intro. I mean,
what is success?
What is success?
Really? Yeah. And then there were people I knew getting deals that were being shelved, that were not being, I got signed with Sony, and you never hear from them. Yeah. And it happens all the time. It's a nasty business. And
a lot of lip service, I've noticed.
A ton. Oh, yeah. You've been around. We're around. Yeah. We're in the same circles. So you've been
But it
around
is a great, on the other hand, it's a great community. But
yes, the people that make it up.
Awesome.
Yeah, the people are amazing. And the community. And I remember talking to Linda one day. We were sitting down talking about it. I mean, she was she was very honest with me about it. This might have been at her house. And she said, Jessica, right now you don't see this, but when you are my age, you're going to understand that the journey is the success.
Oh my goodness.
And and she was so right.
She just nailed it. Yeah.
She did. And And I was like, I just want to do this, and I want to, I just was guns a-blazing, hell-bent on being on the Opry, and that's the only thing that mattered. And
so what does now?
Writing quality music. Yeah. And if I'm the person that gets to be the one that takes it to the world, wonderful. But if I'm not, that's fine too. Because the journey is about the message that you bring in your music. And
love that about you.
And however, for anybody that's listening that's pursuing a career, like, look at it that way. However the message gets out, who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares? This is not the time for pride, you know, and that is very hard in a business of talent and passion, because you're like proud of what you're doing, and I want to be the one that does it, and I want to be the superstar.
Yeah.
And it's not always about that.
As Kevin Griffin said on our 100th episode of our podcast, big songwriter he is. Listen to that one if you haven't. That's one of my favorites. He said, "Ego is not your amigo."
He should be a shirt.
Should be.
It really, I mean, and it's
Kevin, if you're listening,
so
there's a merch idea for you right there.
Absolutely.
You can sell them at the Pilgrimage Festival this year. Yeah.
Absolutely. 100%.
Yeah.
I mean,
very cool.
He should sell that.
So you were in a different place. You said it was hurt.
Yeah. A lot of hurt.
Yeah, a lot of hurt, which is gotta affect what you were going through at the time, music wise. But you used music to help you overcome that, didn't you?
Yeah. Music has always been my therapy. I mean, and you know, being, you know, we're talking about, like, I'm just pretty much a transparent person. You know, I hadn't had the most, you know, great childhood, the greatest childhood.
No.
I definitely didn't come from a Leave It to Beaver household. And there were so many things that I had just stayed busy to try to cover up. And I found that in adulthood, I was seeking that acceptance and that success and the praise through different relationships, not good ones, and making just not great decisions personally. And it really did affect the route that I went on, and not in a good way for a while. And it wasn't until probably like 3-4 years ago that I felt like I had my footing, and I felt like I was ready to write about things that weren't happening right now. It was things that I had tucked away for a really, really long time that I hadn't dealt with. And so I've definitely looked back at my catalog per se, and the last time that I let one of my friends listen to my stuff, actually just a couple of nights ago on a boat, and she was with me like through part of this whole like terrible time in my life, having a nervous breakdown. I mean, just totally going through it. She said, "You had the roughest time of your life, but now I'm seeing more of an adult out of you. Like, I'm seeing an adult transition, you know, in your music. It's mature. It's relatable. It's, while at the same time being mature." She's like, young people would like it, but other people can relate to it too. She's like, there's just a comfort in where you are and a transparency in where you are. And she said, it's just, I'm really proud of you. And it's moments like that for me. That
defined success.
That's success.
Yes.
That's success for me. And I'm hearing that a lot from the stuff that I have been writing.
Yeah.
I mean, I was crying the other day listening to tracks and scratch vocals of what we're doing right now. And I'm like,
you're excited about it.
This is what it's about.
Well, I'm looking forward to hear some of these new songs.
I
know
couple,
you got your piano with you, and we're around the dining room table. Before we get to that, though, you talked about your child and everything. And I wanted to say, you grew up and playing in church.
Yeah. My mom was a great piano player, and I mean, I just automatically started singing, and loudly and on key
from the age of 4. I read.
Yes. I mean, in church they're like, "Whoa,
who did?
What is that?" And they're like, "Oh, there she is right now."
My God! Yeah.
What is this coming out of this little person? And they stuck me up there. The first couple of times, I was like, no. I mean, bribed me with money. I mean, now if they did that.
You're a professional singer from a very young age.
Exactly. I knew what a tip jug was in church. It's just an offering plate, you know. Sorry, God, that wasn't. I mean, it's a little sacrilegious, but at the time, you know, I didn't want to be up there, and then the first time that I ever got up there, and I really let it go, my papa was like, "You just gotta let her. You gotta let her rip. You just gotta, open her up and just let her fly, Jesse. You just gotta let her fly." That's what he said.
Do you remember some of those gospel songs you were singing?
We sang all the ones out of the Red Hymnal, you know.
Yeah.
We sang a lot of Gaither stuff.
Yeah.
Because he lives, the McCamies, nobody listening is going to know who they are. But if you look her up on YouTube, the older lady, I don't know, she might still be alive. I don't know, but she would kick her shoes off on stage. Baby got the Holy Ghost and started kicking her shoes off, and we sang a lot of McCamey songs, Squire Parsons, the Nealons, stuff like that. So now, old Southern gospel music.
And so to this day, you tour with your mom, right? In playing and singing?
We don't as much anymore. We did sing actively around all of like Southwest Virginia, Northeast Tennessee, many churches, many places. Until I was a teenager. Yeah.
Good.
And then I kind of started to branch out on my own. But now she still plays piano for me. We do still sing together in church. She sings backup for me at some of my shows.
Great?
Yeah. I mean, it's full circle.
So you've got a great relationship with your mom.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I mean, we've been through a lot together. So it's only natural.
That's good to know.
We've overcome a lot.
Well, let's get inside your head today. Define success, and you're writing great new stuff. Can you lay some of it on us on this show? Yeah.
Yeah. I think you'll know... Actually, I think Andrea has been on your podcast
she has.
before. So
Andrea Goodman. Yeah.
So she's a co-writer on this song, and Hal Odell.
I love Hal, too. Yeah, he's great.
You know,
great guy.
He's a
great writer.
You know, I'm a pharmacist too, and he's a former radiologist. So we talk all that medical jargon sometimes. And people are like, "What are y'all talking about?"
Yeah.
Oh, we're sorry. We went into our other life. We went into our other life. We'll be right back. Hold on.
How about that? Yeah. So.
Yeah.
And Hal's been on the show too. So you find Hal Odell. Okay. It's a good episode. Yeah. It really is.
He's a cool guy. He actually was kind of scary at first to me. Like I thought
me too. He's so big and
he looks.
Yeah.
He's got RBF for a dude, and
he's
not RBF.
What's that?
Resting bitch face. Like, he definitely has the dude RBF, and I've got it. So
I've never heard that, but I love it.
Yeah, so he's definitely got RBF.
Shows how old fashioned I am.
Yeah,
RBF.
Yeah,
that is a good description. But I mean, deep. He's just a great.
He's
guy.
a big teddy bear. Yeah,
really
he's a great guy. Has a soft heart. I've seen
the
the guy like tear up and cry when we've written. So hey, listen, we're thick as thieves now.
There you go. Well, what are you going to play for us?
This one's called "Nobody Won the War."
Oh, okay.
I think you've heard this one at a round.
I can't wait to hear it again.
Okay. Well, it's me playing, so I don't know.
You're going to be fine.
Buckle up.
Holes in these walls, leaving feels like letting go of wishes, but I'm so tired of hanging on while you fall, 'cause my love for you was your greatest weapon. You said you love me, I ain't so sure. Learning when to leave ain't an easy lesson, but I ain't sticking around no more. You won every battle, but nobody won the war. Find the bottom of that bottle, and I might buy another couch and chair. I'm gonna take some time to patch this heart that's hurt and hollow. These arms still reach for you when you're not there, 'cause my love for you was your greatest weapon. You said you love me, I ain't so sure. Learning when to leave ain't an easy lesson, but I ain't sticking around no more. You won every battle.
You said you love me, I ain't so sure. Learning when to leave her ain't an easy lesson, but I ain't sticking around no more. You won every battle. Yeah, you won every battle. Nobody won the war. Nobody won the war.
Amazing song from amazing person, Jessica Nixon. Great job.
Thank
Awesome.
you.
Let's take a little break. We'll come back and we'll find out more about Jessica.
You're listening to the Songwriter Connection, connecting with music makers and hearing their songs and stories. Now back to the show with your host, Dave Linehan.
Thanks to our amazing sponsors in Red Circle, who is my host for the Songwriter Connection podcast. And thanks for you, to you as well, for listening in. Appreciate you. Jessica Nixon is our guest. You had mentioned this. You have a doctorate
I do.
of
Pharmacy.
I think you're one of 3, maybe 4 doctors we've had on the show.
That's wild.
Including Hal, you just mentioned.
Left and right brained people.
Left and right brain people, yes.
Yeah.
So
I find that I tend to definitely be more attracted to the creatives. I've kind of always been a misfit in my field. I mean, people love it. It's refreshing because I say things that people don't, and I'm not super astute. So I guess that's why patients like me, because they're like, well, she just shoots it straight. She don't talk way up here, and she
shoots it straight. There you go.
That's me. Yep.
So there, you talk about success and accomplishments. That's doctorate. That's something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The music business is way harder than pharmacy school.
Was it really?
Yeah. I mean, and it's not because like the material's not hard. It's not because it didn't take brain power and dedication. But it was more like I knew if I went to undergrad and I did this, and then I went to pharmacy school and I did this, and I passed my boards, I would be a pharmacist. This is what I would do, and this is what I would make. With music, you can do this, 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 and this, and this, and you have no idea what the turnout will be. So, there's comfort in that, but at the same time, with pharmacy, but with music, you don't know where you're going to land, and that's scary and exciting too. But scary.
Sure, I think it was very smart you did that, and but you must have had an interest and a passion for that as well, of helping other people.
Yes, I've always loved helping other people. Back in the day, I got dared to do a beauty contest.
Yeah.
To go to Miss Tennessee. It was in the Miss America system.
Yeah.
Obviously.
We were going to talk about that, but I'm glad you brought it up.
Yeah. You know me, so you know I did not fit into that world at all.
It was the farthest thing from your mind, wasn't it? I mean,
100%.
It was so not you.
But it was more like a dare, and I was like, I've never really turned down a good dare. So I would do anything to like prove somebody wrong. So I did it, and I won.
Wow.
I know.
That's great. That's so great. But it doesn't surprise me.
I was good at interview. I was interviewing for pharmacy school at the time, so I was practiced up on interview. Surprisingly, the beauty pageant interviews were way tougher than the pharmacy school interviews.
Really?
I mean, you had to know everything about everything.
Everything about everything.
Everything. Like, crap that I don't care about, I still had to know about it. I'm like, what is this? I can't.
Yeah.
And so it was an interesting experience, but that's how I ended up meeting Linda Davis.
Is it really?
Yes. So
wow. Well, tell us about that.
So I was preparing for Miss Tennessee, and I'm used to performing, and you would just think that talent's no thing. I got it. Like I could do that. That's the easy part.
Yeah.
But how they perform and the arm motions and the I was a little much for them, and she did stage performance coaching, and that's how I ended up meeting her.
Wow.
And that's how we became friends.
Wow.
Yeah. But back to helping people, I picked a platform. You had to pick a platform so that you did so many community service hours, which I think is amazing. Yeah, I mean, I give it to these pageant girls. They make good grades. They're in shape. I mean, some of them can sing for talent, some of them can't, but whatever, talent here or there. But as far as like being smart, beautiful, healthy and going out in the community and making a difference. These girls bust hump.
Oh, I'll bet. I can't imagine.
I did like 400 appearances in 2 years.
Did you
on
really?
Yeah, I did
Wow.
radio interviews. I went and talked to police stations. My platform was domestic violence prevention.
Wow.
And it was not popular.
No.
No. And my family wasn't real happy about it. But that's okay. I was telling the truth. I wasn't bashing.
No.
You know, my dad was an alcoholic and was abusive to my mom. And I loved my dad. My dad had a lot of demons that he, never dealt with. There was a reason behind the things that he did, but it happened. And it happens all the time. And no one wants to talk about it. And it needs to be talked about.
Yeah.
Because it's not about anger management. It's a deeper issue than that. It's about control. It's, mainly control. And that leads to the violence. So I did all kinds of appearances. I trained police officers on it. My mom and I would actually do them together. She would talk about from the adult perspective, and I kind of walked them through what I saw as a kid, signs. I talked to thousands of teenagers. You wouldn't believe the amount of teenagers that came up to me after these seminars, and I would have these kids at full attention. They were not, and it was surprising. I was only like 20. I was only out of high school like 4 years at the time, but I made such a difference. And I've always wanted to continue to do that. So I think that's a big reason why I chose healthcare.
Ding, ding, ding again. Success.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I probably reached over 1 million people total during that time.
That's
with
awesome.
Radio, TV.
Yeah.
Internet, like at the time, was starting to really take off. Social media, so I was kind of in on that.
Wow.
So it was was a really full circle moment. Like I was starting to put the pieces of healing together.
Yeah.
In my life by helping others.
So that performed a very good function for you too.
Absolutely.
To help you get past that hurt in addition to music. So
absolutely.
It's something you did on a dare. That's so cool.
Yeah, it was my hairdresser. Yeah, it was weird. I got braces kind of late, and I just decided when I was like 18, 19, I didn't like my teeth. So I went and got braces. And she's like, why don't you do beauty pageant? And I always was like, no, I have braces.
Braces.
I mean, you can't have, but you only have them so long. She's like,
Yeah.
well, now the braces are coming off. Are you ready to do this pageant? I dare you. Like she was, I dare you to. Everybody in the beauty was like, oh yeah, Jessica, you should, really gassing me up. I was like, fine.
Folks, what are people daring you to do today? What are they? I mean, seriously, think about that. Maybe you have a gift that needs to be shared.
True.
So,
Just never know.
Yeah. No, and I'm not
Yeah.
talking about daring you to do something stupid.
Don't go snort cocaine on a dare.
Yeah,
but I
right.
mean, yeah. Legally. Well,
Yes.
legally. Yeah.
Yes. Something that could advance you in your career and happiness.
Right.
Right. Oh my God, I just told people to. No, we did not.
No, you did not.
No, we did not.
You did not.
Awesome.
You got to do you. We didn't tell you to do it.
You do you. How about on that note, you got to share another song around the dining room table. How about that? Is that
can do
okay?
it. Sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. This one is called Boomerang. I wrote this with Jessie Pugh, who I think you would love interviewing her for your show, actually. She's up and coming songwriter. She's from Virginia. So I'm
Is
from
she?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm from Bristol, Tennessee, and half my town is in Virginia. Half in Tennessee, half in Virginia. And her and Jeremy Michael, they wrote with me, and they're both from Virginia too.
Well, let's get them on. Let's make a connection.
Yeah.
This is the Songwriter Connection. So
Yeah, hey, it works.
all right. Boomerang. I'm looking forward to hearing this.
Okay.
Jessica Nixon is our guest. She's amazing.
We'll see.
You are.
I'm all over the place, never in the right headspace. I'm the girl you have to chase, who's scared of love, and there must be something you see to wait so patiently and find your way to me, even when I'm running. I thought I threw it away this time, but you're like a boomerang. You come back around, I pull you in just to push you out. Just when I think you're gone with the wind, you show up right back here.
being strong, acting like I don't need no one. I thought I threw it away this time, but you're like a boomerang. You come back around, I pull you in just to push you out. Just when I think you're gone with the wind, you show up right back here again. I know I don't make it easy, but you never gave up on me. Yeah, you're like a boomerang. You come back around, 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 around. Yeah, around, 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 around. Yeah. Thought I threw it away this time, but you're like a boomerang. You come back around, I pull you in just to push you out. Just when I think you're gone with the wind, you show up right back here again. I know I don't make it easy, but you never gave up on me. Yeah, you're like a boomerang. You come back around, 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 around. Yeah, around, 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 around. Yeah.
Boomerang. Wow. Boom.
I had a couple flub ups.
Hey,
Sorry.
I didn't notice him.
That's wonderful.
I thought you wrote it that way. That's what we all thought, right?
Good.
Jessica Nixon is our guest on the Songwriter Connection podcast. Jessica, you grew up in Bristol, Tennessee? Did
That's
you say?
correct, yep.
Now, you know what? That has a very historic musical background, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yep. It's actually the birthplace of country music.
Really is.
And yeah, yep, it is. And they actually built a whole museum and they have like the first country music recordings there.
Yeah.
And funny enough, I don't know if you saw this ever on my social media, and I wish I had told you ahead of time, but I actually got to work with my producer and produce a song that one of the people back home had written.
Wow.
About Bristol. And
About
they're
Bristol.
like, we want you to take this. I mean, it was in sheet music, just guitar form, like the guy had written it. And oddly enough, I went to church with his grandparents, and his
Really?
grandparents absolutely loved to hear me sing. So, yeah,
Wow.
wild.
That's cool.
Clay and Dorothy Smith were their names, and Doug was the songwriter's name. And so I went in with my producer and my one of my guitarists. He also played fiddle for me, Jason Barlow, and we recorded it. And that thing's gotten a ton of love.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they shot the most beautiful video of
Where can we see this?
it's actually on YouTube,
Okay.
and it's on the Bristol, Tennessee, Virginia, website as well.
Really? Okay.
I'll
Yeah,
look
because
up
half
the-
that town is in Virginia, right? Isn't there? Yeah.
it's actually on State Street,
Mm-hmm.
and there are times that they'll have festivals, and there'll be like a stage, and I'll be performing in Virginia for this part, and Tennessee in this part,
Isn't
and
that
the little Geico commercial. If
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
oh, yeah, that's right. I just-
that's it.
that's
He was
right.
on one of the little things.
Yeah.
Yeah, weird. I know. Yeah.
Well, that's cool, though. Yeah.
I'm trying to find this. Bristol, Tennessee, Virginia, a good place to live.
Good place to live. Okay.
Yeah, I'll send it to you.
Good.
And yeah,
We'll share it on our
It's so great.
Facebook page on the podcast, which is Songwriter Connection Podcast.
I
on
love
Facebook.
it. Actually,
we'll share that
yeah,
today.
I found it. Actually,
absolutely.
I'll send it to you. Right
Very
now.
cool. Awesome. Good. We'll share it on there. And then you can watch the video on YouTube, right? Do you have your own YouTube channel?
I do. I really should do better on it, but I'm very active more on Facebook and Instagram.
How do you have
and
time? You're a pharmacist
And
full
a
time,
mom and a
mom,
wife and-
right? Two lovely kids, you know.
they're wild.
Yeah.
You've met them. So
Yeah. Not
I
their
don't
great
know.
kids.
Jesus is how. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just sent that link to you.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. So I figured while I have the energy just to do it. But like with the mom part, your kids are always watching.
Yeah.
They had Hero Day. It was the end of the year last year. And my mom had found my tub of old merchandise, and there were these shirts. And I didn't know that my daughter had one. She got one.
Yeah.
It was 15 sizes too big for her. And she came and kissed me bye. I had worked a super late shift, so I was asleep when she left for school. Nick is a nice man and got them up. And And she had like she had a sweatshirt on. I'm like, it's hot outside. Why do you have a sweatshirt? It's like, I get cold in my classroom. So I didn't think anything about it. I was like, you're not doing Hero Day? She's like, nah, I'm not really into it. So I'm driving home. I think I had a write that day. It might have been with you. I don't know. Yeah. And Nick calls me. He's like, you'll never believe what your daughter wore to school today. I said, what? He says, she wore your shirt for Hero Day.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Hero Day.
Yeah. She's like, you're my favorite singer. I just want to be like you.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean.
My friend Randy Driscoll. Do you know Randy?
Success.
Exactly. Success. Yes. Do you know Randy Driscoll? Have you met her yet?
I have not, but I do know who that is.
She's just a wonderful person. And she has a song kind of reminded me of that called Famous in Her Eyes. About her watching her daughter sing one of her songs in her room,
Well, at the 12 Keys the other night, I heard my kid singing
along to your songs.
I mean, she's off key. Who cares?
Who cares?
Yeah, who cares? I mean, she,
Success.
Yeah, exactly. That's a Spotify stream. My son has a phone now. He has all. I was like, baby, when you ain't listening, just turn it down and you just put mommy on repeat. Okay,
keep doing it.
You got to pay the mortgage. Come on now, 5 cents at a time.
Or 0.5 cents.
Well, that's probably more like
it.
Yeah. I actually had somebody send me a meme the other day about Spotify, and it said, "Did you ever wonder what the tiny pocket in your jeans is for?" And that's what it said. It's for your Spotify royalties.
I love it. How true is that?
Yeah,
unbelievable.
Absolutely is.
There is a Netflix series right now. My friend Dean Sell told me this. You got to watch this. It's called Playlist. Okay. And it is the story. It's told in 6 parts. The story of how they built and made Spotify, and it really is an incredible story. It starts with the guy who came up with the idea, and then it goes to the music business guy, the lawyer getting around the laws, the guy that developed the software, which is really genius. And the last episode finally focuses in on an artist and what it did to the artist, and that's the sad part of the whole thing.
That's terrible.
And I always wondered how they did it, how they justified it, and how it works, and the way it is.
I need to watch this. I need to watch it.
I didn't know this until I watched this series, that the way they did it, not only was it brilliant with the software, but they knew they had to get the record companies involved, and record companies were losing so much money during the years prior to Spotify because everybody was downloading the songs for free, and we couldn't figure out a way to do it. Well, this guy comes up with this way, and he gets some of the biggest labels to sign off on this. So they got money from. They get more money. It helps save them.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah. It helps save the music industry as well. But unfortunately, it's the artists that suffer, and that's why you're seeing people like Taylor Swift. Well, you can't find, or Garth. You can't find a Garth on.
No,
some of them are just. No, we're not doing it. I had an interview.
Which, I mean, I think they're taking a stand. But, on the flip side, there's the, you and I as like independent artists.
Right.
We have to do it.
Absolutely, we do.
And so for independent artists, that was a way to get our music out there without a record label.
And just that's that double-edged sword we always talk about. I mean, 100%. I saw a statistic the other day that something like 120,000 songs are being uploaded to Spotify every day.
That's wild.
And it is wild to think about it. But if it wasn't for that platform, a lot of this music never would have gotten heard. Nope. Never. When I was growing up, and I was a teenager in the 70s, it was radio. And radio was so relevant. Yep. You listened all the time. And that's how you were turned on to your new music.
Right.
And if you were lucky enough to make a little money and you could buy these albums and turn them on to your friends and stuff.
Absolutely.
Today, it's just a totally different game. Radio is not as relevant as it used 100%. To be. And I hate to say that being an old radio guy.
Well,
But it's the Spotifys, it's the TikToks, like you said, it's the Reels, it is. And today that's what it is. But it's a whole new market. It's a whole new thing today. It's a whole new way to define success.
Absolutely. And I think the thing about the record labels that kind of probably irritates me more than anything is that they've used, instead of having a real A&R department anymore, the artist has to do A&R. Yeah, and then they sign them. Yeah. And then they take their money when they made this platform, and that's that is what is the frustrating part. But they gonna get their money, honey.
One way or another.
Yeah,
one way. The saying I always heard was, it's not about the money. It's about the effing money.
100%.
Right.
Well, I mean, with me in healthcare, they're like, oh, it's about health. No,
do you see that?
now.
Do you see that in healthcare? Yeah.
It's become big business. You know, it's and there are times
I've never seen
some amazing inventions medically and so many groundbreaking things. So it's not all bad. So I'm not going to like make it, the devil, but there's more money in sick people than healthy people.
Yeah, sad. But
isn't it though?
And think about this. You cannot turn on the TV today without seeing some kind of a drug commercial.
No, and the best part is my husband and I
for diseases I've never heard of.
Oh, yeah. And it's, and they're like, and side effects may include and death. And death.
I think I'd rather have the disease, right?
It's not common. Obviously, they couldn't put it to market if it was that common, but still like, and death.
And death.
Great.
How about bentcarrot.com? Oh, come on.
Yeah. Money makes the world go round.
Peroni's, I thought was a beer. Italian beer. Never mind. I digress. See, that's the thing about this show. Sometimes you go off on these tangents.
That's okay.
It's all right.
I do it all the time.
That's how I define success.
I do it all the time. That's me too. How many topics can you talk about in 10 minutes?
Pull us back in, Jessica. Tell us a story about another song and share it with us, okay?
This is a really sad song too. I've been in sad girl season. I think we were talking earlier about kind of being ready to write about things back in the day. Like I'm a happy place in my life. And to be ready to write about things that weren't so happy. Yeah. And it's not super on the nose, but I've been inspired by other friends that I've written with that have gone through divorces, breakups, heartbreak, similar situations in their childhood. So I've kind of been feeding off of that. But I think this song probably is, it's probably lyrically one of my favorite songs I've ever written. And I wrote it with Sarah Faith and Tana Goforth, two of my very best girlfriends. Wow. And we just get each other from the first time that we ever sat in the room together, which Sarah's like, I don't know if I want to meet Tana. And Tana's like, I don't know if I want to meet any, but we did. And it was just magical. And the first song we wrote together was called Sooner Than Sunday, talking about how we need Jesus a lot sooner than Sunday. Like once a week just isn't enough. By Wednesday, we're just dying. We get it. We know why Mama took us to church, that sort of thing. Oh, yeah. And then the next time that we wrote together, we wrote a song, and that's what I'm going to play, is called Inside Out. Inside Out. And it's talking about how we bury all of these things, and what's going on the inside is just so, oh my God, like the world is coming to, and it just kind of describes, like, this is what it feels like from the inside out. Oh, wow. So.
Anxious to hear it. Jessica Nixon.
Here we go.
I've been saying I'm okay, even when I'm not. I've been trying to save my face with all I've got. I can't keep keeping it together, acting like I never break down or fall apart. How do I explain the war between my head and heart? It feels like pedal to the metal would never be fast enough. It feels like driving all night to the middle of nowhere would never be far enough. It feels like screaming at the top of my lungs is never loud enough. It's a mountain of emotions that I've been covering up. Oh, when it gets too heavy to keep on dragging around. Yeah, this is what it looks like from the inside out. I didn't want to weather the storm, but I tried. I didn't want to picture myself alone without you by my side. But you poured the gas and you lit the match, and there's no way to save us now. I've be a fool to stay and suffocate inside this burning house. It feels like pedal to the metal would never be fast enough. It feels like driving all night to the middle of nowhere would never be far enough. It feels like screaming at the top of my lungs and saying loud enough. It's a mountain of emotions that I've been covering up. Oh, when it gets too heavy to keep on dragging around, yeah. Oh, this is what it looks like from the inside out. From the inside out. Emotions exploding without a warning. Everything is crashing down. I shouted the signs that I'm a one-woman riot in this happy never after town. But now it feels like pedal to the metal would never be fast enough. It feels like driving all night to the middle of nowhere would never be far enough. Feels like screaming at the top of my lungs and saying loud enough. It's a mountain of emotions that I've been covering up. Oh, when it gets too heavy to keep on dragging around. Yeah, this is what it looks like from the inside out. From the inside out. From the inside out.
Jessica Nixon, a beautiful person, inside and out.
Oh,
thank you so
you.
much for being on our show today.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and defining your success for us and sharing your successes with us. It's
Thank you.
very much appreciated. One of my favorite songwriters is Jason Isbell. I love the guy.
Yeah.
And he had that song that said, are you living the life that you chose or the life that chose you?
Yep.
There's our final question. Thanks for being on the show. I'm looking ahead for shows in September. While you're here in September, folks, coming up, we've got hit writer Craig Monday is going to come and share his
wow.
success with us.
Cool.
Pete Salas, who's also a big hit
Sweet.
writer. And I'm really looking forward to, in early October, we are going to have Cindy Alter with us. She is from originally South Africa. Her band Clout had a giant world hit in the 70s called Substitute. And I guarantee you've probably heard that song. If not, look it up because we're going to find out all about that and the success of Cindy, who's now here in Nashville and recently played at City Winery. So looking forward to bringing all those shows on the Songwriter Connection. Thank you very much for joining us, and we'll catch you next week, okay?
Thank you for listening to the Songwriter Connection podcast. Find us on social media at Songwriter Connection. Also, listen to Dave Lanahan's Nashville Connections radio show. It streams live every Friday morning on WOBL and WNOI. Look for us on Facebook and YouTube. See you next time on Songwriter Connection.